Jai Shri Radhe Sa Vaishnavan Ko Sadar Sapremo Sanamrata Jai Shri Krishna. Today is day 132, Varta 108, part 3, Kalyan Bhatt, and continuing to 109. One day Kalyan Bhatt humbly implored Sri Gosaiji, "O great Maharaj, those devotees of Sri Govardhan Nachi who live close by get to serve you by bringing you water for drinking or for your bath. Some bring you a little water and fragrant palm leaves for you to chew, and some apply fragrant oils, essential oils, while some get to fan you. Some massage you with oil. In fact, they are blessed to serve you in Sri Govardhan Nachi. They have said to me, 'This is our home, now the Lord will accept us into his fold.' But I say to them, 'Is there really anything else left to do? You apply all oil to the Lord himself, you feed him, what else remains to be done? You offer the best possible preparations to the Lord, and he accepts these. So, O Maharaj, this is why I say this to them.' Sri Gosaiji replied to him, 'O Kalyan Bhattji, you are not aware of what is still to be done by them.' Kalyan Bhatt supplicated, 'O great Maharaj, I can only know this when you bless me by revealing it to me.' Sri Gosaiji was pleased with his answer. He was an accomplished and blessed Vaishnava. Part 4. Once Sri Gosaiji was taking his bath in the water room in the temple. Raghu Das requested a tulsi necklace. Sri Gosaiji put down the small earthenware pot that he was using to bathe and began to take the tulsi mala from around his own neck. However, the two malas got twisted into each other. Kalyan Bhatt remarked, 'O Maharaj, the tulsi malas are saying, why are you taking us off your neck?' And Sri Gosaiji gave him a big smile. Part 5. Once Kalyan Bhatt asked Sri Gosaiji to describe the qualities of his closest, accomplished and graced devotees. Vaishnavas. Sri Gosaiji replied, 'The best accomplished Vaishnavas are full of good qualities. They give blessings to everyone. They are never angry, especially to other good Vaishnavas. They have no enmity to any other Vaishnava. If any Vaishnava should perchance offend them, they never feel angry or retaliate. They tolerate it. If another Vaishnava should address them with angry words, then they consider this to be because of their own offence, and do not take those words to heart. Whatever anyone does to them, they forgive them. They even with a sweet voice ask them to forgive them their offence. Accomplished Vaishnavas always tell the truth and keep a very pure mind and heart towards the Lord. They are generous and selfish. Their mind never strays from the Lord, and Vaishnavas, they have conquered their senses. They do not try to justify their own selfish wishes to be the Lord's wish. They partake of Mahaprasad in limited quantity and do not make a lot of effort for their own selfish purposes. Continuing with part 5 of Varta 108. They take Mahaprasad in small quantities. If one eats too much Mahaprasad, it can make one sleepy and one is prevented from fully enjoying devoting oneself to the Lord. There must be some control applied to the consumption of Mahaprasad. If one becomes ill, then one's seva to the Lord gets interrupted. It is very important to keep one's mind and senses under control. When one's mind is under control, then one continuously enjoys seva and to be constantly occupied thereby. All the senses are properly restrained and thus do not crave gratification. They say, "O Lord, we are your servants, we surrender to you." They keep their mind within this understanding. If the company of those who have turned their back on the Lord who are chatting, then they remain silent. They are very careful in their seva of the Lord and are never careless. They never reveal the private discussions they have with accomplished Vaishnavas about the beloved Lord to others. They are always very patient. They tolerate hunger, thirst, sleepiness, cold, heat, anger and greed, and other faults of character, and control all of these tendencies. They are never proud. They give respect to other Vaishnavas, for they have great faith in the Lord's form and his pastimes. Accomplished Vaishnavas always ponder upon their righteous path and their true form in relationship to the beloved Lord. Consider those who have such qualities to be accomplished Vaishnavas. Kalyan Bhatt was overjoyed to hear these words from Sri Gosaiji's own mouth, knowing that this is the true form and character of a Vaishnava. Thus concludes Varta 108, the story of Kalyan Bhatt, the recipient of Sri Gosaiji's great grace and an accomplished Vaishnava. There is truly no end to their story. Varta 109, the story of two Patel brothers from Rajnagar. These two are devotees of Sattvic disposition. In the eternal Leela, their names are Kanchi and Kamana, and they are Sakhis of Sri Chandravali and manifest from her. Thus they are forms of her divine loving sentiment. The elder brother is Kanchi and the younger is Kamana. Part 1. Once Sri Gosaiji had gone to Rajnagar. He stayed at Bhaila Kotari's home. These two Patel brothers had households in Rajnagar with wives and children. These two Kunubis met with Bhaila Kotari and often visited his home. They had the sight of Sri Gosaiji in which they perceived his spiritual form. They requested Bhaila Kotari to kindly facilitate their initiation with the Lord's name. Bhaila Kotari supplicated Sri Gosaiji and he graced them with the name initiation. But now... After that, the two Patel brothers regularly came to Bhaila's home to listen to the holy discourses. Just by hearing these divine discussions, they could remember every word they heard. They passed many days in this way. Part 2. One day, Bhaila Kotari addressed them both. Through the power of good association, you two have been blessed with the name initiation, but now it would be better if you were to have Brahma Sambandh initiation. You should go to see Sri Gosaiji in Gokul to make this happen. The two brothers became very impatient to be blessed with Brahma Sambandh. They entrusted their children with the care and running of their households and travelled to Vraj. When they reached Gokul, Sri Gosaiji was performing his daily prayers on Thakurani Ghat. The two Patel brothers ran to Sri Gosaiji and bowed low before him. Sri Gosaiji said, I had met these two Vaishnavas in Rajnagar. The brothers stood before him with folded hands and supplicated, O Maharaj, you blessed us with your sight and name initiation in Bhaila Kotari's home. Please now bless us with the Brahma Sambandh initiation. At that very moment, Sri Gosaiji graced them and told them to bathe. They did so and came back to stand before him with folded hands and wearing clean new clothes. Sri Gosaiji sealed their surrender to the Lord and then went to the temple. He completed the Rajbhog offerings and let the brothers have the holy sight of the Lord, whereby they felt great bliss. When he had settled Sri Navneet Priyaji down to a little rest, Sri Gosaiji came to sit in his Baitak. The two brothers went there and made donations to him. He told them to partake of Mahaprasad there, and afterwards gave the two brothers plates of prasad too. He sat in his Baitak. After they had honoured the Mahaprasad, the two acquired a room in Gokul and began to reside there. Then one day Sri Gosaiji went to Srinathdwara and these two brothers accompanied him. After having the blissful holy sight of Sri Govardhan Nachi, they made up their minds to go on a tour of the whole of Vraja and Sri Gosaiji gave them permission to do so. They returned to Gokul. To Sri Gosaiji after they had completed their tour. He asked them whether they had completed the whole tour and they confirmed that they had, with his grace. Then they organised a festival with special offerings for Sri Navneet Priyaji and the seven Swarupas and stayed in Gokul for quite some days thereafter. One day Sri Gosaiji asked them what they had in mind to do. They asked his permission to reside at the foot of the Sri Giriraj mountain and serve Sri Govardhan Nachi to the best of their ability. Sri Gosaiji welcomed their request. From that day onwards the two Patel brothers began to live at the foot of Sri Giriraji. Every day after bathing they would go up to Sri Govardhan Nachi's temple and do as much seva as they could up to the Rajbhog Aarti, after which they would return to their room and begin to cook. They would offer all their preparations to the temple flag and then partake of Mahaprasad. They would take rest for an hour. Then they would attend to the service of the Lord for the evening and night-time periods, then return home, lock the door and discuss the Lord's pastimes. They would talk about the beloved's pastimes for the whole night. They did not even sleep. They only slept in the afternoon after Mahaprasad and never at night. This was their regular practice. Even the Lord himself would attend their nighttime satsangs. Bhav Prakash. Sri Govardhan Nachi always goes to where Vaishnavas get together to discuss his pastimes. This has been described in the Vartas of Chachaji Harivams and Krishna Bhatt. Sri Govardhan Nachi is very attached to attending such satsangs and he is most definitely to be found where Vaishnavas get together in an isolated place to discuss his glories. Part 2 continued. One day, while having such divine discussions, the two brothers became completely overwhelmed by divine nectarine-loving mood. At that moment, Sri Govardhan Nachi appeared before them. Thereafter, he granted them his direct holy sight every single day. One day, their children came to call them back home, but they would not go. They continued their lives in the Lord's Seva, residence in Vraj, and the Lord's divine stories. Bhav Prakash. The moral of this story is that Vaishnava should always engage in satsangs discussing the Lord's pastimes. This is because the Lord is pleased by such discussion. It is a very powerful thing. Thus concludes Varta 109, the story of two Patel brothers from Rajnagar who were accomplished Vaishnavas and recipients of Sri Gosaiji's great grace. There is no end to their tale. So Vaishnavan ko sadar saprem sanamra Jai Shri Krishna. आज के आनंद की जय 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 श्री राधे.